paano yung mga susunod nating hakbang.
Dalawa yung pinagagawa ko sa kanya, yung aralin nga nila yung executive order at saka yung multa na kinakailangan singilin niya sa ABS-CBN. 1.97 trillion pesos.
Kaya ko inuuna tong sa mga workers takeover kasi kung magkakaisa yung mga manggagawa, ang union, ang supervisors, ipetisyon nila ang presidente, ang NTC at payagan sila. Bukas gawin na nila yung kanilang pagpapatakbo ng ABS-CBN. Ngayon, ang problema, yung mismong equipment. Kasi hindi kanila yung equipment sa korporasyon pa ng ABS-CBN. Eh, di ba pinapahan sila, listoon?
We've seen so far from the confluence of events over the past few days that even though the 30 minions in Congress were able to shut down ABS-CBN by denying its franchise to continue its operations for the next 25 years, this issue is definitely far from over. Come to think of it, after the election of President Duterte in 2016, it took him 3 years to shut down ABS-CBN, and we've seen evidence more than 3 years ago that President Duterte, or before he became president, was determined to shut down oligarchs in the Philippines. And President Duterte, in effect, was saying that these oligarchs were abusing the privilege that they have in this country. And so, after 3 years following his election, he mandated his Congress, although the palace, through presidential spokesperson Haruoke, was denying up until to these days that Duterte had a hand in the shutting down of ABS-CBN, but we all know that Duterte was definitely in play or had something to say with the total shutdown of this network. So now we know that it's definitely far from over. It took them 3 years because Duterte had to wait up until May 4th, 2020, or this year, for the expiration of ABS-CBN's franchise. Alright, so we know that the franchise is like 25 years and they had to wait years so that the Congress, which has the power to renew or deny contracts, is going to totally shut down ABS-CBN by not allowing ABS-CBN to continue its right or franchise to operate. So now that ABS-CBN is totally not allowed to operate, it's totally shut down, it doesn't have any franchise or rights at all to continue to operate. What's next? So what's next, it seems, and based on what we've seen online, like this video that was uploaded on, I don't know if this is Mike Defensor's verified or official political Facebook account. Alright, the name of the Facebook page is Ana Kalusugan Party List, Congressman Mike Defensor. And based on what we've seen so far in this video, and I had to waste more than 1 hour of my life in order to digest what the hell these minions of Duterte, including one disgruntled former employee of ABS-CBN, a cameraman whose name is Jonali Payunan. This is the guy I'm talking about, the one wearing white in this Zoom video. They were like discussing or plotting the total takeover of ABS-CBN. So after ABS-CBN was totally shut down by not having been allowed to continue with its franchise, well, we still have the buildings, we still have the equipment and everything. The corporation is totally crippled. But what they're gonna do next, what they're gonna do is definitely total takeover.
Kaya niyong patakbuhin ng istasyon, di ba?
Opo, based on experience, kasi hindi naman pwedeng patakbuhin ng isang sangay lang ng departamento. Kumbaga,
tama.
Katulad nung meron ng skeletal group yung ABS Sila yung sinasabi ko kanina nasa gitna na nag-uumpog ang pader ng between the management at saka ng batas ng gobyerno natin.
Sige,
Kung merong...
Isayin ko. Di ba ikaw ay isang cameraman?
Opo.
So I watched this 1 hour and 9 minute long video uploaded on Facebook, and I listed. Okay, this is not supposed to be a long rant. I listed their strategy, okay, on how they're gonna take over ABS-CBN, and I tell you, this is really, really alarming. Okay, very disturbing, because we have a few congressmen plotting the total takeover of the network, and they were alleging all this crimes or violations that they've alleged so far in Congress during the 12 or 11 hearings before they voted to discontinue the operations of the network. So when I check on the comments, so far, I've downloaded this video for my use, and since it's available online, I can definitely use the footage. So far, we can see that it has gotten like 14,000 comments, 11,000 angry emojis, 7,600 likes, 4,600 what I call this heart emojis, etc. A lot of people were angry because when I watched this video, I couldn't believe that these guys are so corrupt. All right, they think that they're trying to save or give the Filipinos some favor by shutting down the network, by alleging all their corruption, especially that it seems to be that the leader or the one of the noisiest guys in this video, apart from Marcoleta, is Mike Defensor, and we all know that over the past few days, the president, Mr. Rodrigo Duterte, was like lambasting the oligarchs, and he's like so proud to proclaim that he dismantled the oligarchy or an oligarchy. He dismantled an oligarchy called ABS-CBN without declaring martial rule. And we all know that there are many types of oligarchy, okay, by definition. So we have political oligarchs, we have corporate oligarchs, like big businesses that depend or get so much support and protection from the government. We have military oligarch, nobility oligarch, religious oligarchs like what they have in Saudi Arabia and Iran. In this country, yeah, we have big cronies, okay, corporations that got rich because of government support, subsidies, protection, and because these Filipino companies are protected from outside competition. All right, but what we have in this country is a more sinister and more evil oligarchy, which is political oligarchy that these people actually represent. Okay, Mike Defensor, Rodante Marcoleta, Boying Remulla, they represent political oligarchy in this country. And we all know that ABS-CBN is definitely not a perfect company, and I'm definitely one of the critics of ABS-CBN, but I tell you, between a corporate oligarchy and political oligarchy, I choose the second as more evil and more dangerous to our rights in future. Because if you're gonna shut down, the ways for us to shut down corporate oligarchy, what I mean by corporate oligarchy are the big corporations, is simply to establish and promote free market system. Okay, the antidote to corporate cronyism or oligarchy is more capitalism. Okay, more capitalism and less government intervention, because all of these interventions that we have, the subsidies, the protection, etc., how the hell did ABS-CBN and other big corporations like Meralco, all of these big corporations that we have today are so corrupt, that have committed a lot of infractions or violations of their franchises, how the hell did they become so big? They became so big because of government connection, because of government corruption. All right, and the third is is like so proud that he's giving us a favor by shutting down or dismantling an oligarchy. okay, let's just say ABS-CBN is an oligarchy, but the only way and the best way to shut down ABS-CBN is to allow competition. And well, we all know that our media corporations are 100% protected from outside competition. So if they have any concern about ABS-CBN's violations, we have our justice system, the lower courts, to handle them, to take care of them. Right? But by shutting down one alleged oligarchy, what they're gonna do? They're gonna replace it with another oligarchy, and now they're plotting the total takeover of the company. And in this video, this is actually revealing, because they're telling us how they're gonna do it. What are the strategies? And the end result is it's either, according to Boyong Remulla, if my facts are right, okay, if I remember the heads or the faces, talking and giving us the strategies, because I watched the 1 hour and 9 minute video. I think this guy Boyong Remulla was like saying what are gonna do. We're gonna either put ABS-CBN up for a bid. It's gonna be bidding, so the riches of the riches in this country, the riches of the rich, the oligarchs, the cronies, the highly connected people are still gonna be the ones owning ABS-CBN, and they're gonna say government takeover.
Question lang po, sa inyo po, since ano na po ang future ng frequency ng ABS-CBN mula ngayon sa mga nangyari na to, ano ho ang pwedeng gawin sa kanya para
Dalawa lang yan.
makatulong sa
Dalawa lang ang alternative natin dyan. Una, gamitin ng gobyerno. O kaya pangalawa, ipabid out sa mga gustong gumamit para makaraise ng pondo ang gobyerno.
Jordan, sorry. Sige, Comboy, sorry.
Okay na ako. Yun lang.
Alright, so we have bureaucrats. These people who don't have any experience at all in running business are gonna be running a very complex corporation or business like ABS-CBN. So it's gonna end up that there's gonna be another business oligarchy run by the government, to be subsidized by taxpayers, because we don't know if they're gonna run it well and more competent than the previous administration of ABS-CBN did. And as we all know, people in the government are so incompetent that we cannot trust them. Okay, we cannot trust them. If they're gonna run a business, they're probably gonna run it to the ground in just a couple of months. And Mr. Defensor was like saying, we're gonna let the workers operate it, and they're relying on this cameraman, okay, Mr. Journally Payunan. So not to belittle cameramen, okay, they do competent jobs, but running a very complex business, he's like saying in this video that, okay, I have experience doing independent film. It's just very easy. You can simply finish the project and then market it, and that's it. No, that's not how I mean, are you kidding me?
So, ang ibig sabihin, pagka kayo nagkaisa-isa, pwede nyo talagang patakbuhin yan dahil push button na naman lahat eh. Alam nyo na lahat ng gagawin nyo eh.
Tama po. Parang ano lang po yan eh, Kong, yung di ba, nauso yung independent film o indie film.
Film, oh.
Isipin mo, nagagawa namin yung pelikula or in a span of time, ima-market, pinanood, pinalabas, kumita. Yun lang po ang sistema niya. Isipin nyo, maliit lang na key group ng isang production. Ando na po lahat yon. So, kasama na lahat yon. Marketing, pati yung mga advertising, yung ganun po.
Okay, so if you can run a business as complex as ABS-CBN, why don't you put up your own business? Okay, why don't you, get some help from all of these political machineries or political corrupt people in this country, put up a corporation and then run a corporation, a media corporation, to compete with GMA7. and TV5. Even TV5 was not able to, survive or struggling to survive the competition with ABS-CBN and GMA7. And you're like saying, oh, I have experience doing some independent film, so we can do it. Are freaking kidding me? So, all right, so we have all these rants coming and rumblings coming from this political oligarchs, okay, with a useful idiot, okay, the guy wearing white, and I listed their strategies on how they're gonna do it, how they're gonna pull it off, how they're gonna force ABS-CBN to sell. It's either to force ABS-CBN to sell, because I was mentioning before that they have a strategy in their own arsenal in order to take over ABS-CBN. It's either they're going to do it through intimidation, or they're going to force ABS-CBN to sell. It's going to be either total takeover, or ABS-CBN will be forced to sell the corporation. So I don't have photographic memory, so I listed some of them. According to, I think it's Dante Marcoletto said that they're gonna fine ABS-CBN 1.97 trillion pesos for violation of the black box. Okay, because ABS-CBN, according to them, is not or was not authorized to sell black boxes, and they have ABS-CBN had been violating this whatever authority. They didn't have any authority at all for 5 years, and he computed that they can really force this argumentation that they need to fine ABS-CBN 1.97 trillion pesos. Okay, they're gonna fine ABS-CBN that much amount of money, and they know that ABS-CBN will either be forced to pay, or if ABS-CBN is unwilling to pay and is gonna bring the case to the Supreme Court, they're gonna be discussing the issue of the Executive Order 205 signed by former President Corazon Aquino. And in the video, in the latter part of the video, they were saying we're gonna be confiscating all their businesses and properties. By they, I mean the Lopez family. They will be confiscating and taking over. It's gonna be nationalization, in effect, of all Lopez businesses in order to satisfy the 1.97 trillion they claim ABS-CBN committed, or violated, and that's a fine. Okay, that's a fine of 1.97 trillion pesos.
Paano yung mga susunod nating hakbang?
Dalawa yung pinagagawa ko sa kanya, yung aralin nga nila yung executive order at saka yung multa na kinakailangan singilin niya sa ABS-CBN. 1.97 trillion pesos.
Okay.
Trillion. Kalahati ng ating national budget.
Ito yung sinasabi mo dun sa kanilang violation.
Violation sa TV
Black
Plus.
box pa lang ito eh.
Oo.
Binibenta ko sa 5 million black boxes times 200 per day eh.
Oo.
365 per year, ang paglabag nila 5 years and 4 months. So ang kwenta ko 1.97 trillion pesos. Yun nga ang ibibigay ko kay Journally.
Diniscount mo
Kung paano po kaya kung hindi talaga nila mabayaran? So, anong next na hakbang?
O pwede ko lahat ang kanilang mga pag-aari dito sa Pilipinas. Marami pa naman siguro. I-attach natin lahat yung mga properties na yan. Yun naman titulo nila, hindi naman totoo. Kaya pwede naman natin silang i-eject dun.
And when I check as well, the other strategy is regarding their rightful title to the land. We have this vast property in Quezon City in which ABS-CBN has all these buildings and structures. Okay, that's the main headquarters of ABS-CBN in Quezon City, and Dante Marcoleta and Boying Remolia were alleging or arguing that ABS-CBN does not have any original title at all to show that it owns the land, the vast area of land.
Isa pa pala, yung tungkol sa title ng ABS-CBN, nakita mo naman nung kinonfront natin sila, bigla silang natameme, biglang ayaw na silang magsalita. Kung sinabi natin, ang titulo nila, bakit wala yung original copy do sa board ng Register of Deeds? Ito ang dahilan, kaya ang sabi ko, ang conclusion lamang dito, yung dala-dala nilang titulo, pinagawa lang sa klarong rekto yan.
What they're trying to say is they can force, evict, ABS-CBN. Okay, that's the next step. They're gonna, in fact, according to Boyang Remulla, this is the first step that we're gonna do. We're gonna evict ABS-CBN because they don't have rightful title to the land where they have all this property.
Para makuha natin kagad yun. Kasi kung yung principal, yung lupa, wala silang may mabubuhat doon. Lahat ng mga chattels doon, improvements, pag-aari na ng gobyerno yun. Sapagkat ang lupa ay sa gobyerno. Ang lupa, lahat nun, accessories. So pag tinake over yun, o di madali silang makakapag-program doon.
Tama.
And according to news we have right now, amid talks of ejection, Soto prompts ABS-CBN to focus on reconstitution of its title or land title. So according to this news, ABS-CBN Corporation should concentrate on the reconstitution of its land title, Tito Soto said. He recalled that during his tenure as Quezon City Vice Mayor sometime in 1989 or 1990, there had been a fire that burned down the entire floor of the Registry of Deeds in the City Hall. So basically, what the 30 minions in Congress are trying to plot or plan is they're gonna evict ABS-CBN, and ABS-CBN will be forced to file a case with the court. So the main strategy is that they're going to force ABS-CBN to file a case with the Supreme Court, and then the Supreme Court will have to review the executive order issued by former President Corazon Aquino during her tenure. So we're going to be discussing about that executive order that allows cable TVs or wired TVs to operate even without any franchise at all. So another thing or strategy that they were talking about is they're gonna reopen, the tax compromise agreement, okay, with BIR, between ABS-CBN and BIR, on the ground of fraud.
Dante, pwedeng yung kanilang compromise agreement with the BIR, pwede pang habulin yon on the ground of fraud, di ba?
Pwede.
So they're like saying, the case of ABS-CBN with the BIR is not, or is far from over, and we can still reopen that on the ground of fraud. Okay, so that's what they're saying in this video. And another thing is they're gonna close down Sky Cable. Okay. One thing that they don't like is that ABS-CBN still continues to operate through the Sky Cable, and they have all these programs. I think they have ASAP. I've seen this on Twitter. They have what they call this, their noon time show with Vice Ganda, Showtime, etc. So ABS-CBN transferred most of its high-rated shows to its cable platform, and these minions of the third, they don't like that, so they would like to shut down as well, not just based on their pronouncement, not just Sky Cable, but also Sky Broadband. All right, they're gonna shut down Sky Broadband. That's what they're saying, and how they're gonna do that? So what's the issue of this executive order? So they were like trying to threaten NTC.
Ngayon, ang pinipilit nilang sabihin, wala pa raw kapasyahan naman ang Korte Suprema para inalify yun. Sabi ko, madali yun. Isara mo yun, siguradong magdidemanda ka ako ang ABS-CBN, makakarating kayo sa Korte Suprema. Yun lang ang paraan ka ako para the Supreme Court will squarely review the validity of that executive order. Kapag hindi ka gagawa ng paraan, walang justiciable control, hindi darating. Ngayon, nakikiusap si Commissioner Gamaliel Cordova na kung pwede po kanya, huwag niyo muna po akong babanatan. Sabihin po niyo kay Kong Mike tsaka kay Kong Boying, hinay-hinay muna po. Makikipag-usap po ako sa ating Solicitor General. O sige kako, kakausapin ko yung dalawa, pero hindi ako nangangako na mapapatahimik ko sila, kaya bilisan mo.
So basically, their strategy is they threatened NTC Commissioner Gamaliel Cordova to give them what they want by shutting down Sky Cable, because that's their plan, to shut down Sky Cable so that ABS-CBN would be forced to either sell or that they can simply take over ABS-CBN. Okay, government takeover. They have all these, threats and blackmails and everything in order to corner ABS-CBN. So basically, the plan is to corner ABS-CBN. So to, allow them to take over. So that's the plan. So let's get to the issue of the executive order that, according to the NTC itself, through Commissioner Gamaliel Cordova, there is this Executive Order 205 issued in 1987, which essentially removes the requirement of a legislative franchise for cable TV operations. So that's the reason why the ABS-CBN can still operate its cable TV platform, because that is not included in the franchise, in the 25-year franchise. And Gamaliel said that Section 1 of EO 205 states that the operation of cable antenna television system in the Philippines shall be open to all citizens of the Philippines or to corporations, cooperatives, or associations wholly owned and managed by such citizens under a certificate of authority granted by the NTC. So according to Cordova, lumalabas dito sa executive order na ito ay parang tinanggal ang requirement ng prangkisa para sa mga cable TV operators. But according to Rodante Marcoleta in his ramblings here, no, we are gonna do something about it. And they were like cornering or threatening or intimidating Mr. Gamaliel Cordova to do something about it. What do you mean by do something about it? To shut down. He said himself in the video, shut down ABS-CBN, and ABS-CBN will be forced to file a case with the Supreme Court, and because of that, Supreme Court will be the one to review the validity of the Executive Order 205 issued by former President Corazon Aquino.
Sabi ko, madali yon. Isara mo yon, siguradong magdidemanda ka ako ang ABS-CBN, makakarating kayo sa Korte Suprema. Yun lang ang paraan ka ako para the Supreme Court will squarely review the validity of that executive order. Kapag hindi ka gagawa ng paraan, walang justiciable control, hindi darating.
So that's their plan. So the plan is definitely total takeover, corner everything that the Lopez family owns, shut it down, and then let the government take over. And another thing that they discuss about is, of course, we have this issue of Big Dipper, the issue of Amcara, wherein Marcoleta was saying, Amcara is just a dummy of ABS-CBN, and all this, ramblings about abuse of power. And he even said the 53 minute mark, to close down Sky Cable. He said, madali lang yan, isara mo yan. Siguradong magdedemanda ang ABS-CBN, makakarating kayo sa Korte Suprema. Yun ang paraan para ma-review ng Korte Suprema ang validity ng executive order. That's the statement I was talking about, and that's coming from Marcoleta. And the next step according at 54-minute mark, okay? Ang susunod na hakbang laban sa ABS-CBN, and this is Mr. Mike Defensor talking, to study the executive order, and I think the other guy was talking about their next step as well, to study the executive order. They're gonna see how they're gonna invalidate the executive orders, the executive order issued by former President Corazon Aquino, because that allows cable companies, not just ABS-CBN, to operate even without a franchise at all. And then they're gonna focus on fining ABS-CBN 1.97 trillion for the black boxes.
Dalawa yung pinagagawa ko sa kanya, yung aralin nga nila yung executive order at saka yung multa na kinakailangan singilin niya sa ABS-CBN. 1.97 trillion pesos.
Right. So looks like that's going to be the final blow. All right. They can always allege any crime ABS-CBN did in court, and ABS-CBN will be forced to either concede, or should the court rule in favor of the government or the 30th minions in Congress, then they're gonna go ahead and proceed with total takeover or confiscation of all properties or businesses of the Lopez family in the Philippines or probably abroad. And one of the funny moments in the video is when we have this disgruntled former employee of ABS-CBN, Journally Payunan, who asked, paano kung hindi nila mababayaran? And then Marcoleta said, kukunin ang mga pag-aari nila sa Pilipinas. And according to Remulla, ipabid ang ABS-CBN Corporation on all these businesses, or gamitin ng gobyerno ang ABS-CBN.
Kung paano po kaya kung hindi talaga nila mabayaran? So, anong next na hakbang?
O pwede kunin lahat ang kanilang mga pag-aari dito sa Pilipinas. Marami pa naman siguro. I-attach natin lahat yung mga properties na yan.
Ano ho ang pwedeng gawin sa kanya?
Dalawa lang yan.
Siya?
Dalawa lang ang alternative natin dyan. Una, gamitin ng gobyerno. O kaya pangalawa, ipabid out sa mga gustong gumamit para makaraise ng pondo ang gobyerno.
So, that's why I said this is definitely far from over, and I don't think ABS-CBN is gonna simply take this sitting down. They probably need to, buy so much time in order to wait until we have the 2024 elections, presidential elections. Is it 2024 or 22? Yeah, 2022 presidential elections, and wait for a new government to take over and pray that it's gonna be an oppositionist government. If you like this video, please like, share, and subscribe. And this is again a Censoration vlog, and have a good one to all of you.